And now we move on to the next bootcamp, which is about digitization and how an ancient heritage site is thinking about tech. And we are very pleased to have with us Pak Bisma Jatmika, who's the Director of Industry and Institutions from the Borobudur Tourism Authority. Pak Bisma, apa kabar?
Baik, hi Hoon. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you. And thank you for joining us from Borobudur, which is to me one of the most beautiful and spiritual places on earth. And I miss it. It's such an amazing feeling just being there. So I read that Borobudur typically attracts about 5 million visitors a year. And so how much of that is split between international and domestic, so pre-COVID?
Yeah, pre-COVID is around 10% are domestic, are foreign travelers, yeah. And about 90% are domestic. And if we talk the broader area about Borobudur National Tourism Area, yeah, covers Yogyakarta and Central Java, it was visited like 50 million travelers domestic and 1.2 million foreign tourists.
Wow, okay. So you didn't have to make such a big shift then because you had a really, really big domestic market, right?
Yeah, actually we need to first be aware about this market shifting to domestic. And then we try to, what we call, to see the carrying capacity of every destination because, since COVID, we have to do some kind of cleanliness, healthiness, safety, and environment friendly condition. Yeah, it's very different. Before COVID, we could just take so many people to one destination, but not now. We have to spread them out.
Yeah. So you've got to look at spreading and capacity management, right? So, I understand, for example, that you are also looking to have more activities around the temple, such as glamping, ATVs, horse riding, and you're helping to digitize the local activities around, in your tourism area, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Actually now, if we talk about the government of province of Central Java and Yogyakarta, they already have this kind of application, to track tourists, to track where they mobile to one place to another. And then when we talk about the temple itself, it is managed by the state-owned enterprise, the PT Taman Wisata Candi Borobudur. They also have implemented the e-tickets, and also have a very strong compliance to the protocol. And we also try to shift tickets, and payments to apps. So along with tracking the activities of tourists and where they go from one destination to other destination, and try to minimize the personal contact.
Right. Okay. So you also spoke about how you're shifting tourism preferences in the area, right? So you are looking at how to avoid overcrowding in some areas. Is that right? So how are you deploying capacity management solutions to ensure that you don't overcrowd in certain areas?
Yeah. First, the tourist preferences are now shifting to more like an open air and natural tourism. Yeah, they also consider about the type of experience for every dollars or every rupiah they spend. And, we need to distribute them to the larger area. We talk about Borobudur National Tourism Destination, covers Yogyakarta and Central Java Province. Both are two provinces. And we need to spread them, while giving them kind of beautiful experience, not only at Borobudur, but also we have this tourism village, and then we have the beach, we have the highlands, etc. So it's about giving them the experience that they really need, with the new preferences and how they could travel safely, that they won't caught by COVID anywhere when they travel. And it's kind of challenging now. And I see the collaboration between industry and the government is quite working well currently.
Okay. So, you talked about how you implemented contactless tech, right? And then going into payments as well and capacity management. What about distribution? Are you looking at more online distribution, and which OTAs are you wanting to work with?
Is it okay to say their names?
Of course, we want you to say their names. Tentu.
Sorry, okay. Okay, Global Tix, why not? Hey? Another
okay.
Other platforms, yeah, I'm sorry about Traveloka, Ticket.com, yeah. Of course, there are several partners, yeah, in digital OTA industry. We see they try to create kind of comprehensive services, such as creating travel patterns and how we could rent cars and pay hotels and buy tickets, etc. So, that there might be a need for kind of an apps, yeah, or digital platform. From the day one, you book your flight, you choose hotel, choose where to go and what to do. And this kind of application will also integrate with the payment channels and application to sell like tickets to attractions, vehicle rents, etc. Things like that.
Okay.
It's very important, I guess, for the next where tourism preferences is really like to minimize the personal contact.
Yeah, but also it allows you to reach a bigger market, overseas beyond Indonesia. When things get better, right?
Yes.
So you talked about the travel brands, which are you're working with, but also we had Gojek and Tokopedia, which just merged, right? And you have this e-commerce platforms that are getting really, really big. And, are you thinking of distributing through these channels as well?
Hey, why not? I guess GoTo has plenty of things, yeah, to do. It's quite big. It's a market and supply. It connects market suppliers and customers, yeah. And this will become a new preference, I guess, where one platform can serve many things. We of course look forward to meet these guys. It will be amazing for us.
Excellent. So, you say you also talked about cashless transactions, and Indonesia is huge on wallets. Am I right? You have a huge kind of unbanked population, and they love wallets, right? Can you give us an idea of the biggest trend that you're seeing around payments in Indonesia that you can share with our audience?
Okay, first of all, there's an issue actually about what we call a cashless transaction. Yeah, since the day you book your flight until the day you travel to another destination in Indonesia. What I really concern is though foreign tourists settle their payments abroad, yeah, but how could this trickle down economics effects should be enjoyed by local Indonesian tourism business? That's one point. Say we can integrate the local crafts, hotel, or culinary, or even tourism village in our platform. And then maybe there should be some incentives for cashless users in Indonesia. Somehow payment channels and this kind of platforms make transaction more efficient, right? And we have to give some motivation for Indonesian to use this application.
Okay, incentives. Okay, so finally, I read your LinkedIn profile. It was very interesting. I mean, you studied architecture, and there was actually a comment by somebody that said when they met you for the first time that you seemed arrogant, but actually you're a fantastic person to work with, and that you will break the walls, whatever it is. So it's a great challenge, COVID, right? So how does modern architecture compared to the architecture of ancient sites like Borobudur, that's built like 9th century? Can technology ever replace that?
Okay, first of all, my friend misperception about me because I'm someone with a focus. I'm always focused on one thing. And what technology cannot replace, yeah, in this monument is that the story behind. Imagine all the technology efforts to build such magnificent monument back in 7th or 8th century. Their faith to Buddhism and the stories in their reliefs, yeah, are really remarkable. The technology can now probably can easily replicate, yeah, but the value will be different. The story behind we could not change the history. We need to appreciate more to the temple, yeah, by learning from its histories and reliefs and do conservation actions. And for me, the architect, Mr. Gunadarma, the architect of Borobudur, had really inspired us in architecture, give us very remarkable civilization in an old times in Java.
Right. Pak Bisma too, earlier we had a panel of techies, and one of them said, can you imagine like using virtual reality to really create and bring Borobudur really alive to, the world, right? Have you thought about using virtual reality or augmented reality for the Borobudur Tourism Area?
Yes, we already spoke with several ministries, yeah, and we agreed to make the content for the VR or AR as well. And we hopefully that next year we will launch several content in several areas so people can enjoy Borobudur, and even not Borobudur, the Prambanan Temple, the Plausan Temple, because we have several temples from the 7th century until 10th century in Central Java. It will be very nice if we could have this kind of VR or AR utility everywhere in in our area.
Definitely. Terima kasih, Pak Bisma. It'd be so good for us because we can't travel to Indonesia right now, for you to bring us an AR or VR product of Borobudur. So terima kasih. Thank you so much for joining us.
Ya, sama-sama.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, terima kasih.